It's time for a Wellness Revolution. Brought to you by Hotze Health and Wellness Center. Honest discussion on maintaining health and wellness naturally to enjoy a better quality of life.
He's the doctor fighting to let you keep your doctorate.
Now, Dr. Stephen Hotze. Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution podcast is brought to you by Physicians Preference Pharmacy, formerly Hotze Pharmacy.
Welcome to Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. I'm Stacey Banfield here with Dr. Stephen Hotze, founder of the Hotze Health and Wellness Center. We've got such a wonderful expert on our show today. So excited. Her name is Tracy Duhs. She has a hydration center in San Diego, and she's going to talk to us about hydration, how we can be better hydrated. Dr. Hotze.
Thank you so very much, Stacey. Thanks for joining us here on Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. I guess that's me, right?
It is you.
I'm talking about
it
myself
absolutely
in the third
is.
person on my Wellness Revolution podcast and video podcast. I believe that you and every individual needs to have a doctor and a staff of professionals who have the know-how and have the wherewithal to coach you onto a path of health and wellness naturally without putting you on all these pharmaceutical drugs which poison your body. And then you can be healthy and well, so you have what? Energy in your life. You've got vitality and you've got enthusiasm. You get up in the morning like a rooster. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Let's get going. Let's get to work. That's the way you should feel. I don't care if you're 18 or 28 or 58 or 88. You ought to be feeling brimming with energy. And I say that because Moses died at the ripe old age of 120 years old. Was he feeble? Was he laying around in a bed sick all the time? Was he in some kind of Israelite nursing home? No, he wasn't. He was leading the troops 40 years in the desert. It says in the Bible, when Moses died, he died full of vim and vigor with a sparkle in his eyes. Now, how would you like to be 120, full of vim and vigor and a sparkle in your eyes? And
Incredible.
God says, Moses, time to come home, young man. We're moving on. We're letting Joshua take over. Well, you can feel healthy and well, and it's your choice. So we talk about all different means and ways that are important for you to be healthy. A healthy eating program, replenishment and balance of your natural hormones, vitamin and mineral support to help you detoxify, and also help produce energy with the hormones within your cells in the power plant so you're producing energy. So instead of being a low voltage individual, you're high voltage. You're a live wire. You're full of energy. That's the way you should be. And then we recommend a good exercise program. If you've got allergies, you get treated for allergies because that suppresses the immune system. Do these things to get a good night's sleep. Put your faith in God. Trust God. It says in the Bible, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and all your ways acknowledge him. Lean not on your own understanding. He will make your paths straight. So you want to trust God. That's kind of a roadmap to success. Trust God and he will make your path straight. He'll show you what to do. You know, it's easier to move a car that's rolling than it is one that's stopped. It doesn't turn very easy. You got to get the car rolling, and then you can turn the car. Well, it's the same thing in your life. If you're sitting around low voltage and not doing anything, you got to get up and get moving. So we're going to talk today about a topic we've never addressed specifically on any one of my podcasts, and it's the topic of hydration. What is hydration? Hydration comes from the term being filled with water. It has to do with having replenished your body water. You know, you're well over 90% water in your body. You know, that's pretty important. If you're 90% water or better, well, guess what? You got to replenish that water, and you can't let it sit there like in an old lake without any water flowing through, and it gets all sludgy. You got to replenish and use the water to flush out the old water that's going to carry with it toxins to get out of your body so your body can be healthy. So hydration is very important and I'll tell you this, my dad told me, and he was a very bright entrepreneur, he told me, son, the way to stay healthy is keep your pipes clean. Yes, sir? What do you mean by that, sir? You're made up of pipes. You got sewer pipes. You got water pipes. You got blood pipes. You got lymph pipes. You got air pipes. Keep the pipes clean and your body's going to be healthy. One of the ways you keep your body clean is you run water through it. That's what it means to be hydrated. It's the opposite of not having water, which is dehydrated. So we're going to visit today with a specialist in hydration. I've never known a specialist in hydration ever in my life. There may be thousands around the world, but I've never read, hide, nor hair about it. You hear people talk and say, "Yeah, you need to drink, 8 glasses of water every day," and you hear these sort of things all the time. Just keep your body flushed out. But not many of us practice that. Most of us are drinking, like me. I drink coffee. I drink iced tea by the buckets. I love iced tea. It does hydrate me, and it's wonderful. But real water, mineral water, can be very important. So we have with us Tracy Duhs. Tracy has a hydration center in San Diego, California. I'm sorry. We're over here in Texas, and we just want to extend our condolences
that
for
you live in San Diego.
But San Diego is a wonderful town.
It's
but I was
beautiful.
saying in California, if you have to live in California, San Diego is the best place and the most conservative place to live. It's a beautiful city. The weather is absolutely stunningly beautiful
Gorgeous.
year around. In the middle of the summer to be in the 70s. It's just awesome there. Beautiful city. In fact, it's cold. We go out boat riding on the bay out there, and you got to put on in the middle of summer, you got to put on a jacket. Mm-hmm. You got to put on a hat. It's cold. The water's cold. It's that coming down from Alaska, so you've got the currents, and it keeps that all of California by the coast very cool. So Tracy has a hydration center in San Diego. So Tracy, tell us about your story growing up, your interest in medicine, and how you transitioned into being a specialist in hydration.
Well, thank you, first of all, for having me on your show, Dr. Hotze. I feel very honored to be here and we're working in such synergistic environments that it's just really fun to collaborate. So my story, that's so interesting. I started in medicine when I was 15. My parents are missionaries, and I was super, like you talk about, being charged in high voltage. Since I was a kid, I've always been really excited about helping people and wanting to learn about the body. And so I graduated high school when I was 15, started college, and went into pre-med, and had a really awesome opportunity to go to an indigenous village in Guatemala and shadow a surgeon and do surgery, give vaccinations, teach about healthcare. And it just really opened my eyes up. But the biggest thing that I learned on that trip was the value of water, and that every single human being is comprised of about 98.9% water molecules. And the people in this indigenous village they did not have access to clean drinking water, and children were dying. Many people were dying on a daily basis in this place. And so I came home and really wanted to learn more about holistic care, and took a different path outside of the allopathic path, and ended up getting pregnant at a very young age, getting married and getting pregnant. And I had a severe mineral imbalance. And this is what got me really excited about water, was I started to realize that the type of water that I drank hydrated me different. So if I was drinking filtered water, I didn't feel hydrated. And then when I would drink spring water, it hydrated me more adequately. So I wanted to understand that better. And what I came to find is that hydration is far beyond drinking water. Many people think that to get hydrated, you need to drink water, but that's a small fraction of the entire picture. Because in order to hydrate, our cells actually make metabolic water, our mitochondria. If the mitochondria are healthy and activated, then the mitochondria they make metabolic water. And if you're really healthy, it'll make about 1 liter to 1.5 liters of water a day. And how do you activate that? You need sunlight, you need to ground, you need movement, you need minerals, you need nutrition. So there's a lot of things that go into hydration, and that's why I became a hydration specialist, because I really want to teach people about how to hydrate their body.
Well, let's go back to that. You've said your cells every day produce how much water?
About a liter to a liter and a half, depending on how healthy you are. That would be an ideal situation.
Which is about a half a gallon, a little bit more than a half a gallon.
Yeah. So
It's-
your body, and this water is the purest water. It's actually deuterium depleted, so it's free of that heavy isotope of deuterium. And so it's the best water there is, really.
Well, when your body produces this water, obviously, it's part of it is the flush process. Your body is full of all. We're exposed to all kinds of petrochemical products in what we breathe, eat, drink, slather on our body. All these things get into our system, these petrochemicals, and
Yep.
and they cause they're called xenoestrogens, and they have an adverse effect on hormone production in the body and utilization of hormones, and they cause a host of health problems. We got we're become exposed to lead and aluminum when we cook in, and other heavy metals like mercury in your teeth. These cause health problems. There are toxins in our body, and our body's got to get rid of it. And part of the way is the body produces its own water excess that helps us flush out all these chemicals. So you can see if you get dehydrated and don't have enough water going in the system, pretty much there's no water to go out the system and you become dehydrated. So this is the reason you want to stay well hydrated. So let's talk about what is the best way to hydrate your body, Tracy?
Mm-hmm. So if you want to start with water, we can start with water. Hydration, like I said, is so far beyond the water that we drink, but we do want to start with the water. So a lot of people believe that if they filter their water, then they're drinking great water. Well, I'm here to tell you that there are many aspects to water, and two big aspects to look at are not just the chemistry of the water, but also the physics of the water and the bioenergetics of the water. Those are equally as important as the chemistry. So earlier you were talking about how you filter your water and you're addressing the chemistry, and that's beautiful because you are getting those xenoestrogens out of the body and all the contamination in the water that shouldn't be there if you're using a proper filtration system. So I like to use a reverse osmosis or distillation to remove the chemical assaults that are in our water typically. But when we do that, we are also removing the mineral content from the water, and our body requires an osmotic balance between the extracellular fluid and the intracellular fluid in order for the cells to uptake the right amount of the water that they need, as well as being able to eliminate the waste effectively. And so if we do not have these minerals balanced in our water, we're doing ourselves a great disservice. And chances are you're going to be chronically dehydrated if you're drinking filtered water alone.
Well, that's interesting. So if filtered water doesn't solve the problem, and let me just ask you a question, in kind of as a devil's advocate. Most of us, including myself, have been drinking filtered water for decades.
Mm-hmm.
I'm healthy, I'm well, but I take a ton of vitamins and minerals, so I may be replenishing my vitamins and minerals that are getting filtered out of the water. Maybe not even in the water because they go through a system in the municipal water supply. Maybe they take part of that out there. I'm not sure. But I'm drinking pretty much pure water without the petrochemical products. Is it the fact, and I feel wonderful. I could keel over dead tomorrow, but nobody's going to say Dr. Hotze lingered. He was going 100 miles an hour last time we saw him, and then there he did, just dropped dead.
Right.
So how would
say
you explain that? Do you think it's the fact that I and our guests take large doses of vitamins and minerals that helps us with our water intake when we do take in filtered water?
That can help, but I would probably, my mind goes more to the fact that you probably have everything that you're doing is optimizing your mitochondria. You're probably getting sunlight, you're probably grounding, you're getting minerals, you're getting nutrition, and you're really taking care of your mitochondria. And so in the food you're eating, the hydrogen that is produced from the food that you eat is is binding to the oxygen that you're breathing. So that's how you make the metabolic water. So you're making probably a very healthy amount of metabolic water. And I would say that's probably because your mitochondria are healthy. Some people don't have really healthy mitochondria, and they're drinking just filtered water, and they're chronically dehydrated, which is always equates to chronic inflation in the body, and we know chronic inflammation leads to disease. So
well, let me interrupt you for a minute, because that's a good point that you make. The fact that we would say the fact that though your water is filtered, you're not getting all the pesticides and petrochemicals in your water, which add to a host of problems. Most people don't filter their water. They drink it right out of the tap. The vast majority of people, including people listening to this program, don't even have a filter system. And I would say this, a filter system is much better than not having a filter system. If that's all you've got, I want to say that's important, because you don't want to get all those petrochemicals in your body. Besides that, people think drinking 4 or 5 or 10 Cokes a day is hydrating, or Dr. Peppers, or soda water, or some of these off-brand sugary drinks. They think, oh, that's the way I'm hydrating myself. On the football field, what are they drinking? Gatorade,
right.
All this stuff in plastic, and they're pumping all these chemicals in their body, the plasticizers, BCP, biphenylchlorinated phenol, all these poisons that are in the plastic bottles. They think, oh, I go to the store and I buy that water, and I don't drink it out of my faucet. I drink it out of a bottle. Well, the bottle's made of plastic, friends, and that plastic or xenoestrogens, they get dissolved in the water, and you're drinking
That's
that,
right.
And it's terrible. So you're not really doing yourself a service. And guess what? That water just got filled up from the local tap. There's just in most places, if you look and read the water for local water, it's just, they're not using mineral water. They're just using tap water.
Yeah.
And it still has the fluoride in it. Let me mention one other thing. When you drink plain water, tap water, you're getting fluoride in your system. Fluoride adversely affects your body's production and utilization of the thyroid hormone. The thyroid hormone is what catalyzes the energy production within the power plants of your cell, called mitochondria. Your cells have generators, power plants, the mitochondria, that produce electrical energy that drive all the biochemical reactions in your body and make the organs function healthily. But if you have fluoride, that fluoride adversely affects your ability to convert the inactive thyroid hormone T4. Here's the thyroid molecule with 4 iodine atoms on it. It's called T4. 4 iodine atoms hooked onto a thyroid molecule. That's the inactive thyroid. That has to enter the cell and be converted to T3, the active thyroid hormone. But if you take water that has fluoride in it or chlorine in it, which are halogens, that adversely affects the enzyme that cleaves off one of the iodine atoms. So you're stuck with T4, and your cells just don't work well, and you're a low-voltage individual with a host of health problems, everything from fatigue to weight gain, inability to think clearly, joint and muscle aches and pains, mood swings, depressed moods. If you're a woman, you may have irregular cycles. You may have problems with infertility or carrying a baby to full term. You've got dry skin. You've got thin, ridged fingernails. Your hair is falling out if you're a woman. You're puffy. You're pale. You're recurrently sick. And you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. I hear that from people all the time. I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired, Doc. So one of the reasons that you have a problem is that you've got fluoride everywhere. Fluoride's in your toothpaste. Go look on the side of your toothpaste, folks. There's a warning label that says if you ingest any more than you put on your toothbrush, call the poison control or see your doctor immediately. That's on your tooth. Go look at Crest. Go look at any one of the major brands of toothpaste that's sold on TV or sold over the supermarket, and they all have a warning label on it. Why would you have that warning label? Because they contain fluoride. Look up fluoride in the Data Safety and Material sheet by the federal government, DSMS, and Google fluoride and just see all the horrible side effects, including an increased risk of cancer when you put in fluoride. Why? Because it adversely affects your body's ability to produce energy, which happens in the power plants, the mitochondria, and that's why thyroid supplementation is so critical as we mature, as our thyroid levels go down, as our hormones become imbalanced. It's very, very important. So let's talk about hydration with mineral water. Where do we get mineral water? Can I've got a place out of town. Can I go put a well on it? Will I get better water just out of my well than I would from a filter system at my home?
That's a great question, Dr. Hotze. Chances are that your well water is going to have a lot more minerals, but it could possibly have a lot more contamination. There could be arsenic. There could be other contaminants in there that you need to get tested. So I highly suggest that you get your water tested before you start drinking out of a local well. But yes, it will have more minerals. And like you mentioned earlier, we want to be a high voltage individual. Why do people drink Gatorade? Why do people they talk about electrolytes? Because our body is bioelectric. It's a system that needs a charge. And that charge potential is enhanced with minerals. You can't be a high voltage individual without minerals. So since we are 98.9% water molecules, we do want to have minerals in that water. And I think that drinking mountain spring water is a really important part of hydration because it does include minerals in it. It actually comes from a living spring, which the living spring is naturally vortexing the water. So there's movement, there's life in the water. Water is a source receiver of all information it comes in contact with. So when your water is coming through those dirty pipes and it's going through those straight pipes, it's getting this information and it's actually being traumatized, and it's sending those signals to your body of that trauma. So when we get water from living springs that are natural, it actually has that message of that life-giving force inside of it. So I definitely suggest that people choose, if they have a choice and they go to the grocery store, that they choose one mountain spring water. And
it's Mountain Valley. Mountain Valley water.
Mountain Valley is amazing because it's in glass bottles. And like you talked about, that the plastic has xenoestrogens. We know that water is the best solvent on the planet. And when you put water inside of plastic, you better believe that it's receiving that information both bioenergetically and chemically. It is getting imprinted into the water, and you are drinking it, and that's going into your body. So like you talked about with the thyroid being affected and many other biochemical systems in the body are affected dramatically when we drink plastics. So if you have the choice, I would drink mountain spring water in glass bottles. You can have mountain spring water delivered to you, and a lot of the mountain spring companies will deliver in glass if you ask them to. So that's an option for people. There's another option that you can take your tap water and put it through a reverse osmosis system. I really love the AquaTrue system because it sits right on your counter and it makes the water instantaneously. So it filters out everything in the chemistry of the water that could contaminate and be caustic for your body. But then since that water is void of minerals for the most part, you want to add minerals back into that water. And this is where it's important because minerals and trace elements need to be in perfect balance. And God is so amazing with creation because in the ocean's plasma is identical. The minerals in the ocean's plasma are identical to the minerals that should be in our own blood plasma. There are 78 trace elements in the ocean plasma, and our body actually needs 74 to be healthy, and they need to be in this perfect balance for that osmotic balance between our intracellular and extracellular fluid. So I love this product called Quinton. That's Quinton. They come in these glass vials, and you can buy Quinton minerals and add them back into your reverse osmosis water or your filtered water. And now the water is able to become a crystalline structure and give that structure back to the water that can go into your cells and actually hydrate you.
Well, here's a question I have for you. Using the Quinton water, which I have at home in the little bitty in the vials with a that you pump, how much of that should you put in a glass of water? One pump,
Yeah,
two pumps?
That's a great question. So Quinton has two versions. One is the Isotonic, and the other version is the Hypertonic. The Isotonic is the one that you just put under your tongue directly. You don't put it in your water. It's already diluted. And I think of that as like the medicine. It signals to every cell in your body that you have the building blocks for life and you have all 78 trace elements that you need. So I take one of those when I wake up, and I also take one when I go to bed. It also helps your central nervous system. It calms everything. It sets everything so you can be in that rest and restore mode. And then the hypertonic version is the one that you put in your water. I usually take a liter of water and add 1 vial to that, and then drink my liter of water. And I usually drink about 3 liters of water a day. So for each liter, I add 1 vial.
That is very interesting. And that's something that I became aware of because of your cousin Steve Martinez gave me some of that at the home, but I really didn't. And I've used it, the squirt bottle with the Quinton, but I really wasn't. Steve's a good guy. He says, I got this, and this is good, and this will help you with your minerals. And I said, well, sure, I'll try it. I've taken it, but now I have a better understanding. I'm 70 years old, and you've taught me a lot today about water. Which is really, you think about it, without water, there's no life. If you're made up of greater than 90%, even as Tracy says, you're made up of 98% water. You want to have good water and healthy water in your body so your cells can function properly. So and
I want to actually clarify that, Dr. Hotze, because a lot of people get confused by the molecular count in our body is about 98.9% water molecules. When you're talking about by mass, the body, depending on how old you are, when you're young, you're about 80% water, but when you die, you're between 60 and 70% water by mass. So that's different when we talk about water molecules and we talk about the mass, because obviously bones weigh more, and different things in the body that weigh more. So I wanted to clarify that because some people don't understand that. But when we're talking at the molecular level, we are 98.9% water molecules. And that is why I've dedicated my life to hydration, because I realize if we're 98.9% water molecules, this is an important topic.
And it's an outstanding topic. Now, let me ask you, Tracy, where do people contact? You've got to be online. Tell us about your contact information if they want to look up your work and read your writings and your recommendations on hydration. Where should they look?
Yeah, so they can go to my website, which is tracyduhs.com. That's spelled TRACY and then DUHS.com. You can also, I'm very active on Instagram, which my handle is @Tracy Duhs. And you can find more at my podcast as well. Download on any of your favorite podcast platforms, Hydrate with Tracy Duhs. And if you go to my website, you'll be able to find a free ebook, because I have a book coming out, Hydrate with Tracy Duhs, in January.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Tracy, that is congratulations to you as well. I think that's wonderful, and it's important for you to document your work because, frankly, I don't know. There may be somebody in Houston that's big on hydration. I just have never run into them, see it. I just don't see it talked about. People just say, I drink plenty of water, keep yourself hydrated. But it's important the type of water you drink. And And if you think you hydrate yourself by drinking Coca-Colas or Dr. Peppers or Sprites or Gatorade, you're wrong. That's not the proper hydration you need. In fact, that has serious adverse effects, particularly when you're taking these diet soda drinks that have aspartame in it, which cause a host of health problems, including mental problems, adversely affects your brain function, and a host of other problems which have been well documented. I don't think the FDA should allow that product to be on the market. Another story, another time for conversation. We've been visiting with Tracy Duhs on the importance of hydrating with natural mineral water, spring water. And there are several companies that do that. The one I'm most familiar with is Mountain Valley Water. I know they carry that in the Houston area. They've got a concession here. They distribute. They take it to your home in 5-gallon glass containers, and you can put it up in your garage or put it up in your kitchen, and you can get natural spring water, which not only is void of all the pesticides and petrochemical products that are in your tap water, but it also contains a multitude, in fact, somewhere in the order of 70 to 78 minerals that your body needs in trace amounts that your body needs to function properly so that your mitochondria, your power plants, your generators in your cells produce energy. So you're no longer low voltage, but now you're high voltage and you're a live wire. That's what we want for you. And this is a simple, inexpensive way to do it, is change your drinking habits. And I don't mean go from vodka to whiskey. I'm talking about water. Okay?
And also to note, Dr. Hotze, if people can switch from drinking simply purified water to drinking mountain spring water, they're going to do their body a lot of good.
Thank you so much, Tracy, for joining us today.
Yes, great information. And also, if you want to find out more about taking charge of your health, being higher voltage, you can also reach us at 281-698-8698. That's 281-698-8698. Dr. Hotze has written 4 books, but his first one is one that he wants to offer at absolutely no charge: Hormones, Health, and Happiness. And all you have to do is call that number, and we'll be more than happy to send that copy out to you, 281-698-8698. Thank you for joining us here today at Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution.
A special thanks to Physicians Preference Pharmacy, formerly Hotze Pharmacy, proud sponsor of Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution podcast.
Information provided on this radio program is neither intended nor implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice and is not intended to replace the services of a physician, nor does it constitute a doctor-patient relationship. You should not use information from this radio program to diagnose or treat a health problem or disease without consulting with a qualified healthcare provider. If you have or suspect you have an urgent medical problem, promptly contact a professional healthcare provider or call 911. Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution radio program advises you to always seek the advice of a physician or other qualified health provider prior to starting any new treatment or with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Any application of the recommendations from this radio program is at the listener's discretion.